It was a crisp autumn afternoon, the kind where the golden sunlight filters through the trees, casting a warm glow over everything it touches. Karoline Leavitt, the rising political star and former congressional candidate, was attending a small community event in her hometown. Dressed in a simple yet elegant outfit, she moved through the crowd with ease, shaking hands, sharing smiles, and listening intently to the stories of the people who had come to see her. But it was a moment she never could have anticipated. That would leave a lasting impression on everyone present. As Karoline knelt down to greet a group of children who had gathered near the stage, a little girl, no older than 6 or 7, approached her shyly. The girl's wide, curious eyes locked onto the delicate necklace Karoline was wearing, a simple silver chain with a small, intricately designed pendant that caught the light with every movement. The child's tiny finger pointed toward it, and in a voice barely above a whisper, she asked, "What's that?" Karoline paused, her hand instinctively reaching up to touch the pendant. For a moment, she seemed lost in thought, as if the question had unlocked a flood of memories. She smiled softly and leaned in closer to the little girl, her voice gentle but filled with emotion. "This," she began, her fingers brushing against the pendant, "is a very special necklace. It was given to me by my grandmother." The little girl tilted her head, her curiosity piqued. "Why is it special?" she asked, her innocence shining through every word. Karoline's eyes glistened as she began to explain. "My grandmother was one of the strongest, kindest people I've ever known. She taught me so much about life, about love, and about standing up for what you believe in. When I was about your age, she gave me this necklace and told me it was a reminder to always stay true to myself, no matter what." She paused, her voice catching slightly. "She's not with us anymore. But every time I wear this, I feel like she's right here with me, guiding me." The little girl listened intently, her small face reflecting a mix of awe and understanding. Without a word, she reached out and gently touched the pendant, as if trying to feel the connection Karoline had described. For a moment, the bustling noise of the event seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them in a quiet, heartfelt exchange. Then, unexpectedly, the little girl looked up at Karoline, her eyes brimming with tears. "I miss my grandma too," she said softly, her voice trembling. "She used to tell me stories and sing me songs before bed. I wish she was still here." Karoline's own eyes filled with tears as she pulled the little girl into a warm embrace. The crowd, which had been watching the interaction unfold, fell silent, moved by the raw emotion of the moment. "I know how hard it is," Karoline whispered, her voice steady but filled with compassion. "But you know what? Your grandma is still with you, just like mine is with me. Every time you remember her, every time you hear her voice in your heart, she's right there loving you." The little girl nodded, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Karoline reached up and unclasped the necklace, holding it out to the child. "I want you to have this," she said, her voice firm but kind. "Whenever you wear it, you'll know that your grandma is watching over you, just like mine is watching over me." The crowd erupted into applause, but Karoline barely noticed. Her focus was entirely on the little girl, who was now clutching the necklace with a look of pure wonder on her face. It was a moment of connection, of shared grief and hope, that transcended politics, age, and circumstance. As the event continued, Karoline couldn't help but glance over at the little girl, who was now proudly wearing the necklace, her earlier sadness replaced by a radiant smile. It was a reminder, Karoline thought, of why she had entered public service in the first place, to make a difference, one person at a time, in the most meaningful ways possible. And for everyone who witnessed the exchange, it was a moment they would never forget, a powerful testament to the enduring bonds of love, memory, and the human spirit.